Hey everybody, it's your pal Drew, and let's get down to it. Champions. I love the Champions, despite the wonkiness, and they didn't last long. And it was just getting good, and then got canceled. Don't you hate that? Well, let me go back to, I'll go to the first issue. It was initially thought up by Tony Isabella. They were the Champions, my friends. Now, I don't care who did that foreword. Nobody could resist that Queen song. Tony Isabella came up with the initial idea. He wanted Angel and Iceman to be, they wanted to be going like Route 66, Route 66, where they just wander the country and, do good shit. And they were orphans from when the new X-Men came along. The old X-Men left, except for Cyclops and I think Jean Grey for a while. And he went to Len Wein, however you say his name, and said, well, I want to do this book. And, what happened is Len said, well, we do need another book in our schedule, so just make sure you have a strong man, you have a woman, and you have a character who has his own comic. So that's how this weird team came together. And as goofy as it was, I liked it, but it took a while. That's definitely a paste up. That is so not Don Heck and John Tartaglia. This character appeared earlier in Thor, back when Kirby was doing it. This is my first issue too, and it's Buckler and Sinnott. Lovely. And inside is Heck and John Tartag again, short for John Tartaglione. It's a long story. And you know what? I like Asgardians. I find them 10 times cooler than Olympus. So it goes on and on. Don't know that character. Don't care much. I'm just going to skip over a lot of that. Now, here's the thing. Third issue, George Tuska, Vinnie Coletta. I wasn't into DC at the time. This was like right when he was leaving DC and he started on Captain America, I think. And I kind of like that, but at the time, most of Kirby's stuff was in reprints from the 60s, and I liked that. And George Tuska and Vinnie Coletta were my first comic artists that I could name and remember. They were my favorites for a few months until I got more books. But they're a good team. I know Vinny did a lot of unpardonable sins when it comes to Kirby, but deleting backgrounds or simplifying buildings into crossword puzzles. But on George Tuska, check out the detail on both their figures. It's really strong stuff. And you know what else too? George Tuska wasn't big on backgrounds. He really wasn't. So there wasn't much for Vinny to erase. Father. So it goes on and on. And this, like I said, I'm just not big on Olympus, because this is Venus. She had her own series briefly in the 50s, and her power is the power of love. She zaps people, and all of a sudden they love everybody. It's like ecstasy. It's where everybody touches each other and get all wacky. So see the blushing on her face? That's a very Vinnie Coletta thing. This fill-in issue by Chris Claremont, guest writer. Kind of interesting there. Here comes Ghost Rider. Boy, that's kind of... I loved Tuska, but his team books were not his strong suit. And 6 months he did a 6-month stint on the Avengers, and then George Perez showed up, and he was the king of that kind of stuff. So, he was much stronger on fill-ins for Ghost Rider, issues of Iron Man, just a little everybody. So Tony Isabella is still the Writer Don Heck and John Tartag, not to be confused with Chicken Tartar, which is what Peggy Hill once fed Hank Hill, which got him sick. Short for Tartaglione, and I guess it's make room in the credits. And I like the combination a lot because he's got a bolder style than Esposito. Well, Angel finds out he's rich. He's on money in the air or paper statements, and in the meantime, bills are falling. It's a great transition, and it turns out this guy is broke, and his financial dealings just made the guy lose money big time where he's broke. This is a great little scene here. These all football guys here. And truth, young mortal, Hercules is still unsure to the purpose of this air-filled bag. Nothing to it, Hercules. I'll go through one more time. The idea is to carry the football or gas-filled bag across the goal line and those men try to stop you. Get ready, boys. You're about to become the first team in UCLA history to tackle a mythological god. The 11 of us will turn that guy into a pancake. Hercules will do as thou request, mortal, but I do not fathom the importance of reaching on gold line. Oh my gosh, says Natasha in no time. I have made the goal line as requested. Couldst thou enlighten me further, young ones? So this one guy, he's just disgusted by like the economy's not going well, and he's broke. But he did make a prototype exoskeleton that he was going to sell, and he only had one. So that one prototype, and he puts it together. I don't know who designed it or not, but I really love the design because it doesn't look like your conventional Romita design. But I could be wrong because Romita did a lot of designing at the time. Really cool. I love that costume. And then the splash page for the ending. No way is that Don Heck. I don't know who might have done it. If anybody could comment below and tell me who they think it is, because that's just not a Don Heck splash page. I don't even know if it's Buckler or not. But in the inking, I can't figure it out. So, Mad Dogs and Businessmen. Now, here we go. I'm enjoying the book, but I'm like, where's my man Ghost Rider? Well, Tony Isabella was writing that also, so he was so steadfast in his continuity that at the time, Ghost Rider was fighting Satan on this, it was like this crazy quest. I can't quite think of how it is. It's like these tests that Ghost Rider is going through. So he's not in the book. And I'm like, you can put a little bit Oh, how about you, Iceman? I'm fine, lady. I'm probably, not that much of a general. What do I care? As soon as the champions run smoothly, the Iceman is going into retirement. So that's another trope. Is there always one guy who's like, right in the first issue, is like, sixth issue, he's like, I'm going to quit this. And I'm still enjoying it. That Iceman there is a Romita fill. That is not George Tuska. You'll find that a lot in George Tuska's stuff because sometimes when he does a team story, things fail. And here comes Ghost Rider back, finally. That's such a weird cover where the bad guy takes up like 50% and he's not even facing the characters. But, I dig it. Here comes Ghost Rider. That's great. Dark Star sends his Black Force down, she calls it. Boom. And Angel's carrying someone from Satan. Ooh, irony. That's another more Romita stuff. The Iceman is calling it quits. It's like, just quit. I need help awful bad. And here comes... That is a great pose. Really good. And I think that is Tuska. Because, I mean, I'm kind of bagging on him. I love his stuff. And I think he could have done that. And here comes Titanium Man, one of my favorite characters, all-time favorite. Iron Man whooped his ass in Iron Man 135, I think it was. Wow, check out that cover by Kane. Stunning. Literally. Divine Conqueror. This is new penciler Bob Hall, new writer Bill Mantlo, new inker Bob Patterson, who was a fantastic underrated inker. And Karen Mantlo, who was Bill's wife, did the lettering. So I enjoy this far more than Heck and Tuska's work on this particular book. So my costume's in tatters, I know. But he gives a speech, which is planned. He's like, I give you the birth of the champion. So his new costume is the Neil Adams costume that was designed in the late 60s, except he made it red instead of blue, which is good because all the other characters, there's no red character in the costume character. Crimson Dynamo, Titanium Man, Griffin. Really cool character, too. First appeared in a solo story with the Beast. Nice cover. I think I did a recreation of that a while back. I cannot remember. Really, really smooth stuff. Then here comes Ghost Rider. And they basically trip over each other and, Oh, I'm jumping ahead. Dear sweet God. Okay. Love that cover. Woo-wee. Dave Cockrum, pencils and inks. He became the cover artist for a while. It was like him. First it was Kane, did a lot of covers. Then it was Rich Buckler who did a lot of covers. And then Dave Cockrum did a lot of covers. And later became a cover editor. Like he would approve the covers and he would draw a lot of them. So Bob Hall, this time with Frank Giacoia, who it's good. But it's a little too much. I love Giacoia. I've expressed that many a times. So yada yada yada. He goes, maybe you were right, Ivan. Maybe champions are a bust. It's like, stop talking like losers. Here's where it gets good. Let me see issue. Yeah, 10 is January. February. Ooh, it went monthly on me. Okay, beautiful, beautiful. And inked by Babyface Bob Layton. Right away. Look at that. Got Bob Layton and introducing John Byrne. And John Byrne and Layton knew each other from CPL, which is a fanzine called something Pictorial Literature. It was Comics Pictorial Literature, I think it was, contemporary. And with Roger Stern, the three of them self-produced some fanzines in the mid-70s. And that was like a thing you did back there because you didn't have any social media. So, it's so great. How about that? Stampede. Not to mention, his regular bike gets destroyed. Then he gets the flame cycle. Because why not? And Hawkeye, who recently quit the Avengers to go out in the Old West with Two Gun Kid, who was time displaced. He was 100 years in the past, and somehow he made it to the present. And they never did anything with that. They did like a 6-issue backup story and like a Marvel Tales issue, and like years down the road. And it's just like they didn't even try it. I would have thought in Marvel Premiere. I mean, Marvel Premiere had some great characters, and they also had some shitty characters. They fight Warlord Ka. These are shadows that are evil. What's cool about this, I did not know this till like 10 years ago, that Steve Ditko created them for one of their the Marvel's monster books in the and then he showed up in the Hulk as well, but he was created in the pre-Fantastic Four monster books. So great visual. And I have a feeling Byrne kind of co-plotted this stuff because everything he touched had a real neat little thing to it. So Angel gets possessed by the shadow creatures, and he goes, "No, I won't let you. Must resist. I didn't spend all those years with Professor X to learn something about closing my mind to outsiders, and while I may not be anywhere near as good as Marvel Girl was, I'm still the avenging angel, Ka, and you messed with the wrong champion. He flies so high that his shadow vanishes." Friggin' amazing. Friggin' amazing. And he zips down, strained his wings, but he picks up Hawkeye. You better not miss Avenger, X-Man. I wish you people would remember that. Oh man. That's done with Zipatone, where you cut it out and you paste it. I miss those days because I used it before. Stiltman. He never looked that formidable before. The Cockrum cover. Love it. Black Goliath versus Stiltman. Usually he's drawn, with a normal-sized head, but he's drawn as a giant for whatever reason, maybe to make him more formidable. And yes, indeedy, love it. And the Avengers champions trying to take him down, falls, does that. It's so neat. They do so many things with Stiltman other than just him standing tall. Well, some hellfire will melt that tarmac. But, click. Great stuff. It's like, let's go after a gun villain. I gotta finish what I started, even if it means my death. So, let me see what's going on here. The Stranger shows up, one of the worst freaking characters ever. In the Silver Surfer series from 1987 onward, they did explain his purpose, but he would always just show up and have no real reason to do anything but destroy something. It's just the worst character. And and meanwhile, on the TV, you see Black Goliath fighting, and I love that. That's such a great little touch, and it's monochrome. That's really cool too. La, 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 la. I love that exploding or expanding out of the building. Camo Thorn, who about a year or two earlier showed up in Thor. So we're the champions. Bring them to me. More. See, now the book's getting on track. You got a consistent team. Bill Mantlo, John Byrne, and Bob Layton does some of them, but then he moves over to Iron Man. I say it like from like a Pittsburgher. Like Iron City Beer. Now, Swarm. At the time, in the news, there was this news about killer bees and how they were coming to America from some other country. And so they capitalized on it, and it scared the shit out of me. I'd have older relatives like kind of tweaking me, saying, "Oh, the killer bees," and I'd be like, "Yeah, no killer bees." Boy, that was a terrible sound. Finally, Iceman gets a costume. He always looks so stupid just wearing trunks. Stupid. So, bees. I like this a lot. Great page for Black Widow. She goes, "Johnny, I'm beginning to resent your attitude of supporting." Johnny, I'm beginning to resent your attitude of superiority towards the women of this team. It's time you remember, Mr. Blaze, that not only am I elected leader of the champions, but that I was being trained to fight while you were learning to crawl. Wow. I screwed up my life. Rampage, but this time there's no body in it. It's like a automaton. Here they come. That really freaked me out because, like I said, I thought the Biller Keys were coming in real life, and Mike Esposito inks it, and it's just there. Could have used a lot. It's only through the ability of John Byrne's work that it actually, it looks good. I know, being harsh, here comes a big old bee. And he's trying to protect them from the bees. So, hold on a second. He throws the big B and they all follow. I love that. He showed up later in issue of Spectacular Spider-Man. Here's an issue of Iron Man. I was collecting anyway, inked by Don Perlin, who was new to me. He'd been around, but I don't remember him doing any Marvel stuff like ever. And the story is just sort of there. You know. But Don Perlin really is a good team. Oh. Then, just to be completist about this book here, they have the Champions showing up in a fill-in issue of the Avengers, and Pablo Marcos is inking Tuska. It's written by Jim Shooter, and the whole plot is that Iron Man has to fight and possibly kill the Champions because Typhon comes back, who was a enemy of Hercules. So they fake him out. It's not that great a story. And then supervillain team up. I mentioned this on a previous episode. Early Bob Hall stuff that I really enjoy. Doom managed to hypnotize the whole world. He had some kind of gas that infiltrated everything. See, even Magneto cannot get up. He goes, my neuro canisters, their gaseous contents are already been released in the atmosphere. Look at that. Doesn't that look like John Buscema during Avengers 50 through 60? And he was an understudy of John Buscema. Like John Buscema very, very briefly had a class. What do you call those things? When you mail them in. And Bob Hall, I don't even know if he met Buscema. Lovely, lovely, lovely. So it continues over in Champions, and this seems kind of wham, bam, bam, bang it, bang, 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 bang. It's just really pedestrian stuff. However, Ghost Rider saves the day. He sets his helmet on fire, zaps him, has to remove his mask. And Doom is like, Doom commands, but I am Doom command, and yet nobody will obey me. Why? Basically, everybody gets cured because he gets befuddled. Now we got Tuska and John Byrne, which is, it's neat because some books, I mean, it's the last issue, so, Byrne's trying to learn how to ink, and it's actually pretty cool. I mean, it's not fantastic, but it's cool. See our letters page for further details. Why don't they just say the book's canceled? Because it was never a good sign. It goes into a Peter Parker two-parter, which Dave Hunt inks over Sal Buscema, and Dave Hunt was an incredible inker. He assisted actually Frank Giacoia and Mike Esposito, and then he turned out his own style, and it was great. Oh. This was one of my favorite Hulk, annuals, because you got Roger Stern, John Byrne, Bob Layton, the CPL club, all reunited and doing their best work. Doc Samson, I hated him. I hated this era where Hulk hung around Gamma Base. It just, I don't know. It wasn't that interesting. I actually dropped the book shortly after Master Mold. Very inspired. And Byrne even admits that in some pages and some panels he's still influenced by Neil Adams, because I can't imagine anybody not having any lack of Neil Adams. So let's go to the Jack Kirby cover, issue 6, George Tuska. Now, and the face is different here. Black Goliath has a wincing face, and he changed it. And this they changed, I can't remember. Well, I mean, I could go back, but I'm really running along with this. I want to, people have things to do. Okay, and I love the bios. The first years they didn't have them. So that's it. The Champions. There was just too much going on, and it got great right at the end, but a lot of people wrote them off. And those issues that did not have Ghost Rider, I didn't buy them. I liked Ghost Rider. He was my favorite out of all these characters. Black Widow is really not developed that well. She was in Daredevil, but she got kidnapped a lot, which really pissed me off. Daredevil would have to save her. But I bought it for him, and Tony Isabella was like, well, he's not going to be in this issue because he's busy at his own mag. And I'm like, you know. So even I wasn't buying them all. You know, even I just kind of said, enough. So anyway, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll talk to you all later, Ray.